Yeah. What? 1 2 1 2. Shotgun The Aux. Mosik. Listen. It's like 2 by 2, like the pairs on the ark, and still rock the type of shit that you could wear in the park. This, that, shit you hear in the dark. Saw it coming, didn't hear the spark. Stay indoors, no need to be alarmed. On a tangent, wait till all the sand's in. With the slang king, better do the damn thing. Ain't nobody standing. The crash landing got me pranging, but this blue cheese is banging. All up in the sanctuary, rolling scriptures, little bridges, trying to get me taking pictures. But my pitch is better than your business. Too relentless, I ain't taking 2% less. Watch your temptress, Samson and Delilah. Medusa, Jezebel was lessons from the fire. Learn it, then inspire, then acquire. Suede moves, living proof, be matching the attire. Yeah, what?
Boom! Hello, Shotgun The Aux. We're back, and this is episode... Fucking hell, Tom just told me, I can't remember what
Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Repeat, episode 8 of Shotgun The Aux.
My name's Aidan. I'm joined with Jake.
Hello everyone.
And Thomas.
Hello. Same voice every episode.
Same voice, yeah, it's so weird, man, so weird. Anyway, yeah, we're back again. Still doing it, man, still really enjoying it. We've had some really good feedback actually, like the last couple of days from a lot of the episodes, and like it's been really cool. What was that? Okay, I don't know if the mic picked that up at all, but was that your burp or was that your stomach?
That was a burp. I'm sorry. I tried to.
It's a combination of the two.
Tried to keep that down, but
Sort it out, man.
Sort
it out. But yeah, man, some really positive feedback I've had recently, which is amazing. Like. It just makes it like, it just makes you feel like you're doing a good job. Like obviously you don't really care, to be honest, like about like people's opinions, but people's opinions that we're like doing a good job is really cool. Because you know we just feel.
No, it sounds like the Lady Duff protests too much, Aidan. I don't care about people's opinions except.
But then I do like people. Like, I want to know we're doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like it's good to know that people actually like listen to it.
100%, man. We've had a few like nice positive comments about it, and you know, like keep it coming. We've had like some idiots sending us stuff as well. You know, but
oh man, we won't even go into that, mate. Like what someone
who clearly doesn't have a clue about one of the biggest live music documentaries in rap music of all time, and claims that they're a hip hop head. Alright, mate, you can fuck off. You know who
we
you
have
are.
pedo lists for people like you.
anyway, we go off on too much.
You digress. What have you been up to then?
Just kind of just working and all that kind of stuff, the usual kind of thing, and listening to new things.
Twerking.
So also on the working and twerking, yeah.
We work in strip clubs and we twerk for a living.
But on the beef tip from last week, so you asked about if there was any UK hip hop beefs you could think of. We couldn't actually think of any. So doing some research, it turns out that there was a beef between Chester P from Task Force and a dude called Wordsmith. There was a track called The Bitches that was circulating, which was apparently I actually checked out by Chester P, and that was pretty sick. I didn't actually find out what the beef was about, and it looks like they subsequently squashed it. But it's good. It's interesting to hear there was actually some legit UK hip hop beef that existed outside of grime.
It's like we like conflict.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like scuffle.
No, yeah. It was just
scuffle.
Yeah, just because the
muskets at dawn.
Yeah, because obviously the topic came up. I can't remember what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, I was just when you said "Where my bitches," I just thought of the "How High" part. You know, when they're in the car, and the pimp's in the car. Where my bitches? Where my bitches? Where my bitches?
I end of last episode, I said I was gonna listen to Devlin's Blood, Sweat and Beers. Literally an album I hadn't listened to since I was 16. So real nostalgia when I listened to that one again. It just took me right back.
Has it held up?
It's held up, man. I enjoyed the listen, and the song London City, I think it is called that. So that reminded me of a YouTube video I saw back in that 2008 called Bournemouth Town. Basically the same it's the same track as London City, but two lads, don't know who they are, rapping about Bournemouth. So sent that across to Tom and Aidan in the group chat. Tom came back with Hugo's Branksome, and I just saw it pop up in the group chat, and I was like, I'm not even gonna. I know this track. I'm not gonna open it.
It's infamous.
I know, and I sent him the voice memo of the B to the R to A to NK.
Jake, though, man, you've got to elaborate from last week. You didn't actually go into it when you went to see Bournemouth beat Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah, I forgot.
Enlighten us with your tale with pie.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the pie story, man?
This is a story which people keep asking me about. They're
Fucking
like,
love this story.
Jake, man, tell me about this pie, and I'm like, yeah, the more I tell, the more I think it was one of those things. You had to be there, and you probably had to drink about 7 Stellas for it to be as funny as I actually have, as it is in my head. But anyway, the story goes. So Bournemouth played Chelsea. It's the first home game I actually managed to get to this season, and I went with a couple of mates from work. Got there, sat down as normal, kick off, boom. Chelsea pretty much dominated the first half, but first half ended 0-0. Went into the kind of concourse bit at half time. Got a beer, and I wanted to get a pie. But the pie I wanted was a steak and ale pie. I always go for steak. You got to go safe, Can't trust the Bournemouth chefs. But anyway, they didn't have no steak, and I was hungry, and I was like, oh fuck it, I'll go for the chicken anyway. So I buy this chicken and mushroom pie, and I walk over to the 2 mates I'm with. I'm like, yeah, I just got a pie. They're like, what pie? I'm like, chicken. They're like, ooh, risky move, mate. I'm like, no, don't worry, this pie's gonna pay off. It's fine. But I was like, I won't eat it now. I'll enjoy my pint, and I'll eat it when we get back out and we sit down. So anyway, I save my pie. We go out, we sit down. I eat the top of the crust. I eat the filling. Bang, Bournemouth bang a goal in. I'm like, we're all pretty pissed at this point. We're like, must be the pie. I think my mate turned to me, he's like, it must be the pie. And I was like, do you know fucking what, mate? I think it is a pie. I'm a superstition. When it comes to football, I'm, high on superstitions. So, anyway, I don't eat the rest of the pie. I just keep the outer crust. And I hold it the whole game. And we bang another one in. We go 2-0 up. My mate Tim, he knocks the pie out of my hand. It goes flying. But luckily, we're only on row B. So I jumped over the disabled man in front of me to rescue my crusty pie. And I picked it back up, and for the rest of the 45 minutes...
To rescue your crusty pie is the most disgusting sentence I think I've heard all year.
But anyway...
Good job already in February.
What was that? You punched the disabled man?
No. No disabled people will hurt in the making of the 4-0 victory.
And I apologise for laughing so enthusiastically.
So anyway... to top the story off...
That's not funny, by the way.
Bournemouth... No, it's not. I was laughing at the pie story, obviously.
Bournemouth beat Chelsea 4-0. It's
chicken
fucking
pie.
Wonderful. We're applauding the team as they go back in, and I take a little crust of the pie and I chuck on the pitch for good luck. So obviously from now on, Bournemouth are going to win all their home games till the end of the season because of that. And I didn't think anything of it.
Obviously,
I didn't think anything of it. Anyway, so a few days later, I get a text through, and it's a screenshot of a Sky Sports article. Headline reads, Bournemouth pie chucker faces stadium ban. And I look at it and I glance at it and I go, you're fucking kidding me. Like, it's a tiny little crust and I'm facing a stadium ban. Anyway, I read on and it goes, an angry Bournemouth fan faces being banned from future matches after he threw a pie on the pitch during a Carabao Cup defeat at Chelsea in December. I'm like, phew, fucking hell, I thought that was all about me.
Pie chucker, obviously a euphemism for paedophile.
Well, the lengths they've gone to, like this poor pie chucker.
That's why Jake thought it was him.
Poor pie chucker, he had to go to London magistrates courts just for chucking a pie on a fucking football pitch. But anyway, that kind of, as I said.
So if anyone's still listening to this random rant,
or if you saw me at the Bournemouth game on any of the TVs and thought, who's a fucking weirdo with a pie? That was me. I know will continue to buy pies in the future at all Bournemouth games. And Bournemouth, if you do go unbeaten for the rest of the season at home, then you know who to thank.
So just on kind of bring it back to the hip hop tip, right? So
yeah, sorry.
Oh, fuck.
Jake Pie Man. So Ghostface Killer's released.
Wasn't Homer a pie man?
What?
What the fuck where did that come from?
When you just said pie man, do you remember when Homer becomes a pie man and he wears the tin cutout on his face?
Oh man, the Simpsons references never stop. But so Ghostface Killer's releasing a new collab album with Sarface. So have you guys heard of that? So Sarface is basically Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang Clan, and 7L and Esoteric. So the project is aptly named Sarface meets Ghostface. And Ghostface did a joint with them years ago on their first album called Savagely Attack, which was fucking sick.
Flow quarantined by the CDC. Heads nod, pressure on your neck like a DDT. Beat Street Ramo, spitting on your name. Rhymes travel underground like it's written on the train.
Honestly, if you haven't heard Sarface, check it out. Really, really cool. They also did like a collab album with MF Doom called
nice, man. I'll give it a listen.
Sarface meets Metal Face. That was really, really fucking cool.
WhatsApp me that shit, man.
I will, man. I will send that over to you pronto, man. But before we get into the into the topic of conversation, we got a special guest lined up today, and it's privileged to have him here. But firstly, I've got to say, did you boys see Will Smith as the genie this week?
Yep.
What the fuck is that all about?
I saw the picture of him, like he's blue, isn't he?
I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke.
But then, did you see the Ainsley Harriott version, which was much better?
No, I didn't.
Are you boys familiar with the online sensation that is Ainsley Harriott, Spicy Boy?
Yeah.
Okay, man. Right, I'll just park that there. But anyway, guys, right before we go on any more into this wild and crazy tangent, we'll park this here, and we've got an exciting guest lined up for you.
Yes. Looking forward to this, man.
Cool,
Good
man.
talk.
Let's get into it.
So yo, I'm on a roll and in control. How I hold a mic and tell it as the story unfold. That's giving you the whole. Me, I'm low key, man. I'm acting like they do, but they don't really know me. I've been in the mix, darking devils and cutting snakes, man. And darking jakes, trying to make a couple tapes. And now I'm formulating facts till I'm caking. With freestyles on radio, that's when I'm in the station.
Okay, so you were just listening to the track Granola from my boy Mosik and Concise from the album The Dots. Which brings us to our special guest for this week, and our first guest on Shotgun The Aux, Mr. Mosik.
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
Big
nice
up,
to be
mate.
here. Big up, guys.
How you doing?
So I've known this dude for like quite some time, and it's also fitting that he'd be from our hometown, Bournemouth. So obviously I mentioned The Dots is out now with Concise. We can get into that in a little while. But yeah, how you doing, man? What have you been up to? I see you've been living abroad for some time now.
Yeah, just I'm good. Living well. Just been in Norway for a year.
Damn,
year and a half. Yeah, man, I'm good. Back in England. It's a bit strange being back. It's alright.
So I've seen you've shot some music videos over there. I think one of them, I can't remember the name of the track, but it was snowing crazily over there, man.
Yeah.
What was that like? Just fucking cold.
It's alright, man. You get used to it. I'm quite a fan of the cold, to be honest with you. Snow's mad. They manage it differently. It was nice. I'm happy I shot. It was snowing, right? The video you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was properly snowing.
You're probably like hooded up. You got beanie on. You look cold.
You don't see videos in the snow like that. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, fuck it, like.
Yeah, it's pretty sick effect, man.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't, to get. I don't know, man. It's a snapshot in time, and it's like, okay, it's snowing crazy out there. We're going to cancel. We're going to continue to do what we're doing, and. That day was maybe the worst snow that could have been that year, but it's a snapshot in time. So when I look back at the video, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it's fun.
Do you think it was worth it doing battling through and doing it with snow?
Yeah.
And it definitely came out better. Do you think with the snow or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean is, it came out how it came out.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been alright without snow, but
But then it's fitting for a video shot in Norway. Do you know what I mean, man?
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
different, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what's the hip hop scene like over in Norway?
Good,
Yeah.
real good, healthy. Hip hop, I don't know, man. Like culturally, I don't think hip hop exists that much in Norway. Like in a hip hop way.
Yeah.
Because it's not, they're Norwegian, but in terms of the music and stuff, there's a group called Mutual Intentions, and if you haven't heard any of that, man, but you've got a good catalogue to listen to.
Yeah.
Fred Fades is a producer, and I think he's head of the label as well. He's been making beats on SP 1200 for years and years, and I think it's a small community, so I think everybody who uses an SP 1200 almost knows each other globally. And so he's gone from that sampling 1200 with a few of his mates to now electronic house music.
Damn, man.
Still making rap music as well, like with Ivan Av.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Ivan, and you were saying he's had quite a bit of exposure. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
First time I heard him, I think, was on a Spotify playlist last year. And Aiden, this would be right up your street, right? It's very kind of right. You may disagree, but like the word that comes in my mind is like lo-fi. Like the kind of production is very kind of chill. And he did a track called Toast, which I couldn't get enough of.
Yeah.
And I listened to the album after that, and it was really, really cool for like chilling on a summer day. And we were saying it's very like, in terms of like their like phonetically how they sound, how they spit, it's very close to kind of American. There's definitely like an American twang in like the Norwegian accent, which I find quite interesting. But do they ever kind of chop and change between English and Norwegian when they rhyme on the same track, or is it typically kind of one or the other?
Well, he's an odd case in himself. Like his family, I think he has family in America, so when he speaks, you talk to a Norwegian and they'll speak English with a Norwegian accent.
Yeah.
Where like it's not like an American or an English accent. It's like imagine if you talk to someone French, they have a French accent or a Spanish accent when they speak English. He speaks English with a very American like style. Do you know what I'm saying? Like like, and I've met other people as well who speak, when they talk English, they speak American. So he rhymes how he speaks English, but he's the only person like that in Norway that I've heard. Everybody else nobody rhymes in English. They rhyme in Norwegian. So he's opened himself up to the world by speaking English and rhyming English.
Yeah.
But he's closed himself off to Norway, if you know what I mean. Like the Norwegians go from Norwegians.
It's a niche, I guess, as well, isn't it? I mean, it's like a prolific Norwegian rapper, but he's still, as you said, he's getting radio play, right?
He's global, man.
Yeah.
So because he speaks English, his audience is global. But in Norway, the first thing that struck me was like, you lot don't know about this guy? Like, I've come over here as a foreigner, I know about him. And all you people in Oslo, you don't know about him. And when I saw him for the first time, I was like, what's going on, man? Like, people don't know, and he's like...
So is hip hop, would you say that's kind of the most like prolific genre of music in Norway at the moment, or would you say what's buzzing over there at the moment? Is it just kind of equivalent to anywhere else?
It's very fast, like... I don't know, man. Tell me, I can only speak for what I'm seeing, but it seems like it's trending. People don't care about the core of hip hop or the core of grime or the struggle that people are going through in that location. People want to be like jumping on what's hot. Meaning, why that I'm saying is they don't have any. If they were really into hip hop, they'd be praising Ivan more. Like, do you know what I mean? But grime is popping, so I think...
Norwegian grime?
No, as in English.
I was going to say Norwegian grime.
I wouldn't be surprised that the beats-wise, everybody's gone to a trap beat, haven't they? So your Norwegian rapper is rhyming over a trap beat. Like, nobody's even trapping, but you know what I'm saying?
I would say a Norwegian grime episode, that would warrant its own episode, right?
I mean, I've heard Australian grime before.
It's Oz, man. They're super
interesting.
Yeah, but how can you make Australian grime? It's almost like how can you make UK hip hop? Really, but
like everything is derivative of the thing that came before it, right? And there's obviously there are nuances and there are regional differences, right? And you've got to respect where it was born ultimately. And I think if you give kind of respect and due course to that, like yourself as a UK artist, you obviously you're a fan of like what came before you from. Like we had this conversation a few weeks ago. I think episode 3, UK versus US.
Yes,
and
we did.
My argument was that. Do you think that obviously you might have a different view? Like, is UK hip hop stuck in the boom bap era to a certain extent, bar a few artists?
Yeah.
There you go, man. Thank you. I validated it. Mosik. Love that, man. So
bar a few artists.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like it's very easy to get romantic about. Like that Black Moon album was just mentioning about, they made it in a few weeks. It's all very sample heavy. Now, if you're like, oh, I love that, I want to make something like that, and you restrict yourself to a records and a SP 1200, you're only ever going to make that, right? Or maybe not even. You're going to be trying to make that, but they were doing what they could at the time. They were trying to be as progressive as they probably could at the time, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I think UK hip hop is stuck in this. Keep it real.
We had quite a good discussion actually before. We said, why do you think that UK hip hop has never done as well as like grime has done? how grime's just there's just been like this massive surge, but then UK hip hop it kind of it went, and then it feels like it's sort of just stagnated to a point where some people kind of like shooting across and doing their thing, but not quite taking off as much as sort of grime.
Time in as well, because if you listen to some of the stuff they were making in 2000s, like that early, what was it, Low Life Studios, Low Life, when fucking Brain Tax ran off of all the money.
Low Life Records is just
what happened there?
Brain Tax robbed UK hip hop, didn't he? So this is second-hand information, but Brain Tax was the owner of the Low Life label, so Low Life was smashing it, weren't they? Like Harry Love and Maestro.
Jest on there as well at one point.
Jest apparently is the only dude who got paid. Everybody else, he fucked up with their money and went to Australia. So I
thought I hadn't heard much of Brain Tax for a while.
I think it wasn't very much money, in the scheme of things, to have done that, and it kind of put a sour taste on that whole era. Because they were killing it, like Chester P and... if you listen to Kalashnikov's songs now, it stands up.
100%. Man. Zero by Kalashnikov. I mean, everyone it's murder and whatnot, but Zero for me. If you think, I think we had this conversation a few weeks back as well. But UK hip hop back then, it almost lived in that kind of like limbo of US and UK sounding. So you had like Kalashnikov's very kind of UK, very regional sounding. He's got his own slang out of Stoke, whatever. But the sound itself was like a Mobb Deep beat. Do you know what I mean? It was very kind of like a lot more American in
sampled.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like sonically, it was a lot more American. But that I was listening to that this week at the gym, man. It's still like tracks like that really get you going. 100%.
I read auras and books written by forbidden government authors.
Man.
But you're writing shit like that. It's not gonna go anywhere. That's.
And that from its murder and we were saying last week, it was DJ Premier put him on, I think, in the States. He recognised it and he was like, damn man, like this guy needs exposure. Yeah, he's from the UK, he might be not be used to his accent, but there's a fucking audience for this, I know there is. And that's why it is to a certain extent it's taken off in the States with grime. Do you know what I mean?
But the timing was set, it's taken a long time for it to even be an audience that would be ready for that, if you know what I mean. Because these grime guys, how long have they been going? They've been going for 10, 15 years. Skepta and that were out when Kalashnikov was out, back in the day, right? Yeah. They're still mucking around with videos on the block, and it's for years and years, and only in the last 3 has there been it seems like a market ready to accept the UK a bit more.
So would I be right in saying that like grime at the beginning was classed as hip hop, wasn't it?
Well, I think they'd be offended if you said
house music. Yeah, like that's where it kind of come from. Started off at like, if you think of who 21 seconds ago, Sonic Crew, and that was obviously that kicked it all off. You kind of the start of almost like grimy garage, which then starts off Pay As You Go, which Wiley was in, sort of East London East London crew. And then obviously there's your Wiley, and that's kind of like your starting point of grime.
Some early like Kano stuff would fall into hip hop, wouldn't it?
It's gone in a different trajectory altogether, though, isn't it? Like I think UK hip hop was more like derived from the state sound, and then grime almost kind of it had its own like totally unique sound, and it just went in its own direction, died a death. And now it's come back in a major way, maybe because of time. Do you think it's because of the information age, though? Do you think it's the age we live in? It's very kind of... You can record a fucking music video on a mobile phone, that kind of aesthetic, you know?
It's also like a single sort of generation as well. No one... I've noticed that people don't really go out to make albums, it's more about singles.
Someone tweeted about that the other day, about how, you don't have... I said this to you, I mentioned this to you, that, you don't have to... You don't necessarily have to have a classic album to be a GOAT anymore, or considered like a really good artist. Yeah. You could be like, the artists that we always mention, like your Coles and Drake. So you necessarily don't have like that album yet, but they've got like they just released banger after banger, and they would then be considered like the greatest at that moment in time.
Yeah, man.
It's just very much a singles generation at the moment.
What does GOAT mean?
Greatest of all time.
Oh my days! Because I've heard guys all over like Instagram, and someone posted one of the pictures we posted. Someone posted a picture of a goat or like the goat emoji, and I was just like, "What the fuck is like, are you taking a piss or something like that? Are you trying to like diss us?" So I didn't get it.
We did this article that like you said like there's a difference between being the GOAT and being the what was the other one, like the best rapper alive.
Yeah.
So like every year since the start of hip hop, they've had the best rapper alive.
Did you see that article? It was it Complex magazine?
Yeah.
They did. And obviously this is completely subjective, but they put a lot into it. It's quite a lengthy read.
It is a lengthy
Since the beginning of hip hop, right?
Who was the best every year?
Every year, yeah. In terms of like, if it was record sales, if it was kind of like, I guess kind of consistent track record, that kind of stuff, right? So again, very, very, very subjective. I agree for the most part from like through to the 80s, because you could argue what came out of New York in the 80s was basically all, it's all you had back then. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Well, not necessarily all you had, but all you were exposed to.
Yeah.
Whereas the 90s was more kind of, I guess, like up and coming, a lot of boom bap artists. 2000s is where I kind of like it lost it for me.
Yeah.
Because then you've got a lot of you kind of like Atlanta based, like the South come into it a lot more. And a glaring omission for me was Andre 3000. He wasn't even in the running at all, even as an honourable mention, I don't think. And I was like, nah, get the fuck out of here. I was like, if you're sleeping on Andre 3000, then like whatever, it's preference. But I think the dude is well.
A lot of people argue that because he hasn't got a solo album, you can't consider him.
Sure.
Yeah.
He was playing in a period where it's easy to overlook him almost like Andre's, but then now you look back and they've all faded away. Andre remains
exactly
doing those red light, green light. Like, when have you ever heard a bad Andre verse?
Exactly,
ever?
man. Even he was on Tribe's latest album, wasn't he, like a couple of years ago when that dropped, and I thought, man, he's still on another level, man. He's fucking crazy. But man, so Mo, obviously we're Bournemouth heads. We went to school together a long time ago. It's actually been a few years since we caught up, man. Like, so obviously, ever since I've known you, you've always been involved in kind of the hip hop scene in the UK, in Bournemouth more specifically. You've been doing your thing. You've been doing some radio. You've been releasing tracks like prolifically. So how did you get into hip hop, man? Like, what was your kind of like gateway into the art that you do? Broad as fuck. But I appreciate that.
Jeez. Well, it's kind of hard to ignore. Like, I remember being a kid my friend's dad was a taxi driver and playing Doggy Style, and you know what I mean? It's funky and it's funny at the same time. And we're talking like '93 when that would have been playing, but I never gravitated towards it like that until I was probably maturing as a young adult, and I'd have the commercial albums because it was like everybody would have had a commercial, like a 50 record or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
But then it was Nas that probably got me more into it because it went below the surface. Do you know what I mean? And there's themes in rap that are knowledge of self, like knowledge of self being the Black Star record, or like just the whole 5%er ideology in rap. It is rap can be a number of different things. It can be that party and bullshit, or it can be like suicidal thoughts, which is a very like introspective. So just the depth of it at the time. So it was Illmatic that got me, really. I was bumping Illmatic and then something struck me. I was like, what did he just do? And then after that, man, that was the end of it. I realised what it was, and I realised...
I hear you, man. I think that's the same for a lot of heads out there. I mean, Illmatic's obviously like a classic record. I think, obviously, being I'm like 31, I wasn't like old enough to remember when it first dropped. Obviously, I was old enough to remember, but I didn't get into it until later on down the line. But it's just an iconic record, isn't it, man? I mean, like, do you think Nas has released anything to that standard since then? I mean, it's just kind of got to ask, haven't you?
I feel bad
everyone,
saying it.
Everyone
he's been at the top of the game.
Yeah.
But come on, man, Illmatic is...
I know. Where'd you go from there, man? Do you know what I mean? It's like setting.
He's released amazing stuff. Hip hop wouldn't be right without Nas's like, which is years later, right? Undying Love, or even the Thief theme from real later on, or
Get Down for me, man.
Yeah,
I think the storytelling on that track is just next level. Like, I still, if that comes on and like shuffle, I'm like, I'm in for the next like 4 minutes or whatever.
But he just shot himself in the foot by making Illmatic first, right?
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it.
Such a good album.
So when you first got into kind of, you got kind of an ear for it, but when did you decide that it's something that you actually wanted to do as an art form, like writing and rapping obviously is there an element of like building confidence, like so I'll speak for these guys here, right? So so we're all like, we're enthusiasts, we fucking love hip hop music.
Same,
love it, man, do you know what I mean? But there's kind of, I guess to some extent there's a differentiation between an artist and a fan, right, in terms of the music you listen to, the artists you pay attention to, and that kind of thing, right? But when was it you first thought, yeah, I could do this, I'm actually really good at it? Because you are, man. Your stuff is sick.
I think it's just a super fan. I've talked about this to other people that make music as well, and the people that make music are the most into it. Like say Mutual and Fred and them lot in Norway, they're not normal listeners of music. That's their job almost. Like you're it's taking your love for it a step further almost. And my friends were rhyming before, like, so I didn't even realise. But do you remember Master Chuddy?
No, man.
Do you remember Master Chuddy? What did he go by? Haysum, my friend Haysum. He was rhyming and he was real good.
I'll tell you what, man. All these names ring bells, right? From back in the day, they're all the lads you used to knock about with, aren't they?
Yeah. So Haysum was rhyming from when he was young, and Haysum has lived around the corner from me from when I was growing up, and I never realised, like, I never even put two and two together. And one day we were at a party or something, and Haysum's rhyming. I'm thinking, what? This guy? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I remember, I was definitely at one of those parties, man. I remember, like, because he used to have a kind of like brown hair.
Yeah,
like,
taller.
tall
He's
guy.
quite tall. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him, mate.
My cousin, he's lived in London. Now he lives in America. He's a lot older. He was rhyming in this garage era, so he's a garage MC. So I think my first exposure to it was him. And then the fact that my mates did it, it was like, shit, like, give me some pointers, tell me what you're doing, and then...
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Is your cousin still rhyming now?
No. I think he dabbles with music, but no, he's much... We're talking like, must be 40s now. Shit.
So I think that, you know, we were talking about kind of UK hip-hop and stuff, and I'm a big fan of the era that you touched upon with like, kind of Brain Tax and Jess and Task Force, etc. And obviously it's come on like leaps and bounds in terms of like marketing, and there's a lot more about, and you know, with the information age and the digital era, like there's a lot, people are like churning out content like never before. Do you know what I mean? But I can say I'm a massive fan of that era of UK stuff. So have you heard of a guy called Manage from London? Yeah, and like it's a really fucking good cypher with Manage. There's a crew called Rhyme Asylum back in the day. Yeah, and Doc Brown's on there, and Gibberish from Essex. Really fucking good.
Yo, don't take the piss, mate. I seal your fate with a mixtape, slit your wrist with a plastic. Understand you ain't this great. Chopping off limbs using intestines as fish bait. Verbal exercise, you petrify, speak quick with a swift rate. This brain will break the fake, invade the portray my hate. Standing in doorways, thinking of more ways to raise my game. It's like Satan mock my days with a razor blade, slicing up my arms hot. Now my brain's awake. Yo.
I guess because. And the point you made earlier, because of timing, maybe bad timing, maybe it was just kind of the precursor to the stuff you have now, you never hear them. Do you know what I mean? Like, Rhyme Asylum disappeared. You listen to their first two albums, some of the dopest stuff I've ever heard from the UK. Like, no word of a lie, like, I bum out the gym. It's really like, it's probably like horrorcore. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, it's kind of like Jedi Mind Tricks, but more like, but better. That sounds thing, because I'm a fan of Jedi Mind Tricks, but it can get quite samey, quite repetitive. But Rhyme Asylum, like the bars, the punchlines,
it's amazing.
The metaphors are really on point, and it's just annoying how they fucked off. I don't know where they got. I don't know where they went.
I think people get disillusioned with it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I didn't get to where I expected to. So fuck. Or like, if Brain Tax takes everybody's money and then you leave a hole in the industry. Not to blame him, but like, cause some people
calling you out, Brain Tax. No?
Right. Some people are still rhyming from that era. Like Jester's still rhyming. Maestro and Maestiggy still rhyming.
You were on a radio, like an open mic with Maestiggy, weren't you? That was sick, man. Like, we'll have to play a clip of that at some point.
Is that the one you sent me?
Some of these
guys.
With Illiterate
and
those guys.
With the Yogo Cop guys.
Yeah, I saw that in Verbs.
And that was on like Fubar Radio.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey yo, electrical currency I'm spending on a vegetable, dressed the bull. Sportswear shit's collectible, mirror on the wall. Tell them who the best of all. Never stall, I get it poppin', check the festival. Rush the stage by the DJ with the dusty crates. What's his face? Most sick with the rusty fade. From putting working like the rusty blade. Then put the workout, sit back, adjust the pace. Multi-talented, on the line, perfecting the balancing. Embarrassing how long you slept on the talisman. I'm up like the crack of dawn. Put the route in Google, who looking frugal. Colourful, I'm looking fruitful and looking through you. On to the next, top of the deck, cause what you expect. See, I'm hot on the steps, lock it down, drop a left. Find a report in the morning on the...
And you did like a bit of a freestyle at the end, obviously with the cypher, you were going round and round and round, and it came to you and you did it off the dome, and I was like, so what's that like, man, when like it comes to you, the pressure's on, you know, obviously it's kind of, okay, how do I not fuck this up? Like what's going through your mind, and what's the thought process?
Did they reach out to you to get you on?
The show?
Yeah.
I shouted at them.
Yeah.
The Fubar, because they do open mic section.
Right.
Just to promote the project that was coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't intend to go on the show. I just sent the show or sent my Stiggy some music, and I think he took it as a, do you want to come on the show, bro?
Yeah.
But whatever, man, I ended up doing it.
Yeah.
But from what you were saying, I took lyrics with me. I knew what I was going to rhyme on the day, but then we talked in the room beforehand and said, are we going to like, do you boys fancy going off the top? Like they were like, oh, if you do it, then we will. But like,
I noticed that, man. You were the first to kick it off, and everyone was kind of like, they followed suit. Like, well, he's done it. So
but they can do it though. You hear him, right? Illiterate can rhyme off the top very well. Verbs was real good. Uncle Harry was good. Yeah. I think it's just a case of being ready to fuck up. Like, you know you're gonna fuck up if you're rhyming off the top. It's hard to do it but it's more. But it's fun.
It was seamless though, man. It wasn't like noticeable if you did. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was watching it. I thought, man, like, I could never do that. No. Obviously, you know, it's something that you've like worked on for a long time to perfect. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what I quite enjoyed about it, was you could see like you guys were enjoying yourselves. You're like having fun with it. It wasn't like a fucking, I'm gonna just smash this guy. I'm just trying to outdo this guy. It was like, you know, let's have a game. You know. Yeah. That's I thought that made it quite good, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I thought the same.
But talking of my Stiggy, so he was on Pitch 92, producer, and he was on one of the tracks with Verb T recently.
Yeah.
And going back to Jest, he just released a track called Kingdom. I think the video dropped this week. And have you heard that yet? Like, I think High Focus released it.
Jest?
Yeah.
I think I have, but I can't. I'm gonna say like, I can't remember what the sound. I know he released a new song. I can't remember if I listened to it or not.
I mean, I'm a massive like fan of Jess, right? You know, like China Shop Taurus is like, that's my jam, man. I think like he was one of the main kind of bars back in the day. But he seems to be getting better with age, though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you think so?
I think he does.
You think so?
Yeah. What's your take on that, man?
I think he was amazing. I mean, I don't think he's got worse. I think he was just so good in that early period of the Alcoholic Awful. Maybe I'm romanticising that as well. But I heard him rhyming with Lee Scott on a record, and he did impress me, man. Like, he's obviously still Jest. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just keeping that fire going from that.
100%.
Like, so I can see why, if you were probably being objective, you would say he's getting better with age, and he probably would say he's getting better with age. But me being a fan and being romantic about that,
I think he lives in that time, right? The Alcoholic Awful and like 1979 and all those classic tracks, man. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes with. I mean, his production's got better. Overall, he's kind of like, he's a bit more kind of polished, I guess, and that's probably where I'm coming from. But he can still spit fire. That's, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's he's one of those MCs though. You think, man, how are you not bigger? But then UK hip hop never really took off in a commercial way like grime has, you know. And that does upset me, but conversely, it means that, you know, the creative output isn't compromised. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those dichotomies I struggle with a little bit.
I don't think anybody's had the boots big enough to step to that next level. I think everybody's just slightly doubtful about it. Which is, if somebody came along, do you see the energy Skepta was carrying when he broke into the pop charts? Like, I'd use his example because he took it to a place where UK hip hop hasn't taken it to, right?
Yeah.
And he took it to a place where grime had never taken it to before, right? It's almost like he just thought, fuck it. Like, do you know what I mean? This is what we're doing. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I don't care anymore. I'm taking it to America. And he walked the talk, walked the walk, right? But when has anybody come with that, like, that attitude in UK hip hop? Nobody's been as big as that. Like,
I think Drake had a helping hand with the whole grime moving over to America and it getting big over there.
Yeah.
I think like
he helped because he's Drake, right? But it seemed more like he wants to be down with them than they want to be down with him.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't care.
Especially in his lyrics as well, you hear it. Like,
you do hear it, and like more life on that, and like the way he like brings out gigs and. Like,
but I think it's mutual, rather than saying like, oh, he wants to be down with them.
They just want to get paid.
He wants to be down with them.
Want to get paid.
They want to be down with him too. Like, it's like a mutual. And I remember Drake posted a video of Skepta from way back, and he was like, who's even rhyming like this? Like, because they all rhyme at 140, don't they? Trap is almost 140 as well. And Skepta's fucking killing it. Like, and he's right. Who is rhyming like that?
To be fair, man, I mean, you see, all this commercial releases aside, but you see these grime artists, Stormzy, obviously, he's commercial, but have you seen that video where he's just spitting at an American dude, and he just, like, drops a freestyle or whatever it is, like, and he's really going for it, it sounds impressive, and the American guy's like, I can't come back to that. He's like, man, I don't know what you just did, but it's embarrassing. And I was just embarrassed for the dude, do you know what I mean? It was just
was he praising Stormzy?
Yeah, he was praising him. He was just like, man, I don't know how to come back to that. Like, and that's the thing. It's kind of a view of the UK, and even we got Instagram and stuff, and I posted an old freestyle that Skinny Man did on Westwood like a little while back. He goes in hard at Skinny Man. He's just obviously he's really kind of passionate. He's very kind of charismatic, and someone commented on it. I think it must have been an American just going, "Oh, I don't like the accent. I can't get the accent," and rather than kind of shutting that person down, it's kind of like, man, you just need to look at it from a different way. Yeah. You're probably missing out on a lot of stuff because you have that attitude. I don't want to shut anyone down about it.
RZA did a song with Skinny Man. Skinny Man, Blade.
What?
Yeah, on the World According to RZA. RZA did a world album, didn't he? Where he made an album with French rappers.
Okay, man. Right. So, what's the name of the track? If you don't know, right, I need to look for this.
RZA rhymed on it with them as well.
Let's go. Yeah. Regardless, I'll be here bringing it heartless, ruthless. To the death, I'll stand for the truth. Yes, my God-given talent is all that I can do best. Keep spitting over these tracks and leaving you blessed.
It's a Westwood exclusive. If you type in Skinny Man, RZA, and Blade, and there's one other dude on there.
Yeah.
So this guy commenting like okay, you're gonna argue with the RZA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Skinny Man is good on that song. He's very good on that song.
Because Skinny Man's
one I would love to see another album.
Remember Mr. Tibbs? It was Mr. Tibbs.
Yeah, it was. So Skinny Man, and we spoke about like some of the most like influential albums, like, and I think it was the second episode. It was like a lifetime ago. And we talked about Council of State of Mind, and I made kind of, and this is obviously I hold it in high esteem. I think that's a fucking incredible album, and so almost kind of like the Illmatic of the UK. Yeah. So that's my thoughts about it. Just because it's so hold on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Right. So put on the playlist, man. I'm not forgetting that one.
Why do you think he didn't release another album?
Skinny Man, probably money, man. I don't know. I've no idea. Maybe I think he genuinely came from the place he rapped about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we reached out to Skinny Man a little while ago, and he said, yeah, he's cool for coming on the podcast. Like if he can tie it in with the gig he does in Bournemouth, then he'd be happy to join. But I think maybe timing, maybe money.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say without just speculating. But that album was incredible, man. I think
really talented guy.
Yeah, track after track is really, really important record from the UK. I think it just encapsulates like what UK hip hop is, in essence.
Is it the UK Illmatic?
I think so. Yeah, I obviously. It's a false equivalency, like Skinny Man and Nas. I'm not saying that.
Is he the GOAT?
No, I'm not saying any of that.
He's one of the GOATs. He's got to be for sure. Skinny Man's a legend.
Yeah,
and he's the precursor to a lot of heads that came out after him. Like if you listen to, like this is just my opinion, but you listen to kind of Plan B, who needs actions if you got words, and listen to that album and the content in that, and he's even got a fucking track called like No More Eating. Which is a direct reference to like No More Eating from I'll Be Surprised, that when he drops that lyric in that. So I think
they all know him, and they all
thematically they all pay homage to Skinny Man, and I think that's it's got to be done. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you remember London's quite a small place as well, so if a lot of these grime guys, they know rap as well. They're rap heads too.
Yes.
You're not going to separate the two. So Kalashnikov's Murder was a big tune for London, full stop. Like Witness, Roots Maneuver. You think the grime guys don't know about that? Like, And it's like I said, it's a small place, so you're not going to be able to avoid one from the other or take one from the other. So everybody would know about Skinny Man. Like they would know how good he was.
Yeah, that's it. And I think I saw on his Instagram recently, like Skepta gave him a signed pair of trainers or something. I thought that's pretty dope, man. I mean, obviously, like all these guys coming through, like however successful they are, they all like acknowledge that, you know, the people who came before them, especially people like Skinny Man.
Somebody said this to me. That was what we were saying about UK hip hop not going places, grime going places. There's a story somebody told me about Wretch. You know, like the High Focus were not High Focus, High Focus interchangeable with Low Life because it's like the new Low Life. Right? Yeah. Wretch, what I think was a fan of Harry Love, and Harry Love's in North London. Wretch is in North London, and they're reaching out to, because Wretch back 10 in the 2000s, nobody knows Wretch is. Wretch is like not even in the grime scene, like popping, he's about, but he's not. He hollered at Harry Love to get some beats, and Harry Love's turned his nose up at the grime boys. So now he couldn't even get a holler from, do you know what I mean? He would love to have a beat from.
Don't burn your bridges, people. That's the moral of that fucking
being
story.
Snobby and it being like, oh, this is hip hop. You've shot yourself in the foot because you just said no to Wretch. Like,
yeah, man, that's it. But I mean, we talked about kind of like your inception, getting into rap music, and then I know like some of your kind of like early days, you're just filming kind of videos on the beach down in Bournemouth. Like, was the name of the crew you're in? The Olympic Chimps.
Olympic Chimps.
Yeah. Anyone you want to big up from that crew?
All of them, bro.
All of them. Yes.
All of them. Yeah, Cosm obviously, Baxter, Woodski, Neutronics, fucking. It's Jonathan Swift. Do you remember Jonathan Swift with the dreads?
Is he still rapping now?
I have no idea. I think he lives in Australia, bro.
He's the guy. He did that fucking Branksome track, didn't he?
Yeah, he did the Branksome track.
Doesn't he work in your building?
Oh mate,
he's about. What you were telling me, Jonathan Swift's about?
Well, I thought his name was Hugo for a start.
Yeah, it is Hugo. Yeah, it's Hugo.
It's Hugo. Yeah. Mate, I don't know.
What's he about now? You tell me you work with the guy.
No. There's I work in a building. Me and Aidan work in a building of 9 floors. Whereas where we work is on like the first 2 floors, but other companies occupy the other rest of the building. And I keep seeing this bloke on the stairwell.
Not rapping. He's not
He looks exactly like this Hugo from the Branksome track.
Yeah.
B to the R to A to NK.
Oh man, that's fucking jokes, man.
I don't know how I'm gonna approach him and be like, "Are you Hugo?" I just like some.
Mate, I just do it, mate.
What if he isn't and he just turns around to me and he's like, "What the fuck are you going on about?"
Have you got a look at it?
If he's about, then it'd be nice to see him again.
You got the video? Where's the video? You got the video?
Yeah.
But Hugo was real good. I remember he was a very good freestyle rapper back in the day. But again, like I'm not with that Branksome thing or like taking the piss out of rap music with rap music is a funny old thing, and I'm a bit sensitive about this.
I'm with you, man. I'm kind of with you in a way. I mean, obviously there's jokes to be had about, I guess, like the satirical aspect. It's like, you know, it's Branksome. We're very familiar. Let's be honest. This track isn't going to go beyond like Dorset. Therefore, it's going to be received well in like a tongue-in-cheek way. But then again, you're kind of compromising like rap music as a medium in general. Not to go into it, not to kind of like throw shit at this track for.
No, throw shit at it.
Yeah, that's it. It's just it's anything creative, man. If you're making something, man, I've got to big you up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I would say don't make the Branksome tune. don't do it, because a lot of people are going to see that, and it's not a good representation of the culture to the people who don't understand that culture.
Do you hate? I fucking hate like misappropriation of hip hop when it's like people just saying, you know, kind of, you know, when you get like award ceremonies where you get people who don't know fuck all about it, and they just put like a fucking backwards hat on and they go yo yo yo. It's like, and like, it's not real music. I've had this debate with so many fucking people over the years.
But to say it's not real music. Or appropriating the culture?
Both. Both, man. And I think it's disrespectful. You know, you've got... I can't remember who it was, and I've got a lot of time for, like, pro-green. Like, generally, But he did this thing like a couple of years ago with like Jamie Oliver.
He's just dislocated his neck.
Has he?
I saw that. Yeah, he had 3 seizures.
Pro Green, not Jamie Oliver.
Not Jamie Oliver. No,
he had like 3 seizures and fell down some stairs, didn't he? Yeah.
Shit, man. But yeah, they did this thing and like it was like yeah, man.
Big up Pro Green.
They did like a kind of. Like Jamie Oliver did like this rap and it was just so like
the chef Jamie Oliver.
Yeah, it was really cringeworthy and it was just like, yo, I'm a guy doing a. I was just like,
was it about healthy? Was it about eating healthy?
It's irrelevant, man.
Was it about how he banned turkey?
Just shit like that just really pisses me off because you know, people not taking it seriously. But anyway, I'll get off my high horse.
Really like,
you know what I'm trying to say, though, man.
I'm with you, but yeah, I'm with you 100%.
May not be articulating it in the best way.
No, but that is.
Passions are high.
No, 100%. Okay. Like, if people don't get it, they'll be like, "Oh, why are you even thinking like that?" Or like, "Oh, you need to chill out." But you don't get to voice an opinion about this because you're obviously not serious enough about this to tell me to chill. I don't know the beginning of Busta's Coming album, the Coming. He's having a go at everybody who's not adding to the culture. He's saying if you're not adding to this culture, you're taking away from it. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, if you're shit at rapping, don't rap. Like, basically, he's not saying that, but he's saying if basically he's coming at people appropriating appropriating the culture and diluting it. So and I'm with that in the sense of it's very, like, I'm very passionate about the culture.
Yeah. 100%, man. I'm with you there. So you know where you say about kind of like diluting the culture, and obviously like a more contemporary example of that is like mumble rap, right? However, it's still kind of a I guess socioeconomic like commentary on what's happening now in America, right? Mm-hmm. However, it's always happened, that kind of like cheesy tongue-in-cheek, like, you know, kind of Vanilla Ice and like all that kind of stuff since back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like ever since the inception of rap music's existed, you've always had artists like that making a quick dollar, you know, just kind of like
cashing in.
Exactly, man. So it's not anything new. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's just choosing
thin line, because the mumble rap generation, or this generation of young guys rhyming to trap beats and not really being as articulate, that's their thing, right? Yeah. So if you get on the high horse like the UK hip hop thing and say, that isn't that.
Oh, mate.
Like, it comes from the same place. Like, these are the young kids that you were at that point. You can't tell them to rhyme like...
I would agree with that, man. I remember I watched a video recently of someone that went into each sort of era of hip hop. And it's like each experimental era of hip hop where people would be like, "What the fuck is this? This isn't
you can't rhyme like this."
But then that's the bit that goes forward, and that's what people then take on. And you know, it's just their thing. And I'm a firm believer in no one goes out to make shit music. Everyone, like, you know, they're putting 110% to make the best song they can.
I'll take it back. They were saying, I can't remember what I watched. It was a documentary. It might have been like the Source magazine. No, not the Source magazine. It hasn't existed for a while.
Is it not?
Hip Hop The Aux. Right.
Okay. And Source is gone.
I don't know if it has.
Hip Hop XXL is still about. Which one's gone?
Double XL is definitely still about.
It's Hip Hop The Aux I'm referring
the Source
to now.
I'm ever.
But so the Source is gone.
I don't know. I might be talking out my arse there, so like, you know, I'll get fact checked, no doubt. But so the guy on Hip Hop The Aux compared like mumble rap now to someone like Daz Effects from back in the day. Like, even though the rhyme patterns are more impressive, it's more boom bappy and it fits into the aesthetic that say like UK heads are really into. Ultimately, what they're chatting is complete bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
With style,
exactly,
right?
Man. Yeah. Like, they got the swag, and you fucking love listening to it. It's got the kind of like the nursery rhyme patterns, and the flow is like mad experimental. But ultimately, you listen to it, you're like, if you like read what they're saying on paper, you're like, okay.
Well, I don't think.
But there's nothing wrong with any of that, man. There's room for it all.
I don't think it's like. I don't think it's about the words. I know how like my gravitation towards it. Yeah, the words grabbed me.
Yeah.
But hip hop is truly global, American. So let's say English, people can't understand the words, but you'll gravitate to how someone's playing the instrument, right? So the confidence of these guys, like somebody said to me, like some guy who was into, what's the word called without being like emo rap? Not emo rap, emo.
I know what you mean, like
emo rap, but like emo bands.
Oh,
like that XXXTentacion. He's like
not even like him. He's into like. Emo bands,
like
right?
Aiden.
And he was like,
Aiden's on emo.
Back in my day,
he was like, "Oh, this is cool," but the emotional element of it. But I've recently realised that hip hop is really confident, and I was like, do you know what? You're right. To rhyme on stage with no instrument, you've got to be confident. And these young guys mumble rapping or Dies Effects, it's done with confidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you're almost not listening to
you're getting a vibe
the words.
you're
feeling the pain, or you're feeling the happiness, or you're feeling the emotion.
And
then words are great, but it gives you a tool to get that.
I understand,
right?
And there is an element of elitism in a rap fan from these days. Like, you know, kind of UK rap fan, or someone who's into like, I just love boom bap, I just love underground rap. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, shut the fuck up. If you were around like back in the day, like Nas was a fucking commercial rapper. Nas, like Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, Biggie was the biggest thing in the world.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
man. And so really, it really fucks me off when people are like, you don't know hip hop, man. Yeah, go listen to some fucking Jedi Mind Tricks, or like, yeah, just go listen to some Doom. It's like, yeah, not shit on Doom. Like, I fucking love Doom. But do you know what I'm saying? It's like no, like you've got to keep an ear open to all of his stuff. And like Jake will agree with me here. Like, Jake's a big fan of like your stadium kind of artists, and there's a spectacle. You know, there's a reason these people are like put on this, not on this pedestal, but
because the reason they're in front of 30,000 people is they can handle it. They are that person.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Or they're good enough at what they do.
Exactly.
Drake didn't jump a load of levels. Like you hear his progression, and like he's now worthy of £50 a ticket for
exactly.
Like,
it's just the way you look at it,
or £90.
That's how much you pay for it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then, like, mumble rap is you know, it's experimental. It's what they kind of take from whatever they listen to, and then they think, you know what, I'm gonna make this, and this is what sounds good to me.
That's
and
good.
It's really popular.
Experimenting is good, right? Like, think of all these genres we talk about from the 60s or something, like Sabbath. Like, Sabbath are a new genre. No, they're not. Sabbath don't give a fuck. Like, it's Sabbath, like,
exactly. It's just because
they're
it was
just
more
a band. We're making shit, and then this other band becomes a punk band, and this becomes that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they were just being them almost. Like,
so, man, this is a good segue, man, because I know like you make music, you crate dig a lot. Mm-hmm. So you're not just into hip hop music. You're into kind of like a big kind of eclectic taste of music, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm
a big fan of Sabbath.
I'm really into
the first two records of Sabbath were fucking cold.
Exactly, man. But I'm into my prog rock, man. And we were talking about on our sampling episode a couple of weeks back, like and I know I think I'm with you. I think you're with me here. Do you like King Crimson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So like we're saying, like Robert Fripp lives in Wimborne. You know, the lead guitar.
So I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. And I was listening to a track like Apathy. Do you know Apathy? He's like and he used Starless. You know, like the bass line. I think he used the introduction and the bass line in one of his tracks, and it was just like, that's spot on. Mm-hmm. Like they're just such a sick band. I think like it's really important, and that's my next question. So separating like the artist from a rap fan, like us, like rap enthusiasts, do you listen to like typically a lot of rap music now, or are you more kind of like so involved in the work you're creating that you kind of veer more towards like other genres? Or is it just like depending on the day?
Rap is still my favourite shit.
Yeah.
But right now I've dug out my CD collection for my car is good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like I've been away in Norway for a long time, so I could only take desert island music. Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna take with me? I had no records, I had nothing, but I just had a few CDs.
Just had a brainwave for a section on the show, like desert island, like this. Like,
what did you take?
Yeah.
I probably took the best albums ever made, I think. With the exception of some rock albums or some shit. Yeah. But I would have probably had Sgt. Pepper's in there as one that I'm missing. But Marvin's What's Going On album, best album ever made, hands down. Like, it's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thriller, or Off the Wall, which is the opposite. Like, you could say, and I would have said Thriller was better before, but it's party tunes and love tunes. It's amazing. It's Quincy Jones, it's Rob Temperton, it's the best of the best at the time.
My man.
But What's Going On is a social commentary. What's Going On covers some other shit. Then...
Do you like Sam Cooke as well? Like, have you seen there's a documentary on Netflix?
Yeah. Not yet, I haven't seen it, but this is it's a big issue, man. Sam Cooke was... the first dude to get fucking shot.
Mate. Well, not literally. I mean, people did in history before Sam Cooke, but like,
you know what I'm saying. The first black artist to get assassinated.
Yeah.
Like, for being too big, and there's too many famous black artists that die or famous artists that die full
Yeah,
stop.
for real.
And this is the Sam Cooke stories. Yeah, that's not...
Right, so I think I've missed this. So someone might give me the
Sam
download.
Cooke got murdered, and it was all at the time where he took ownership of his own music.
Yeah.
Right.
So the story doesn't add up. Like how his death was written up and how his death happened was not the same as then the two don't match.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he had just become political.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever heard the track "A Change Is Gonna Come," Aiden? It's probably one of like the biggest, most iconic tracks in soul music ever recorded.
Yeah,
but just putting you on the spot. I'm only joking, man.
Yeah, it was a social commentary. It's like it's about the black struggle basically. The change is going to come. Inspired by Bob Dylan actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a fan of Dylan, and he released that. He made that song, and a week later they killed him. It was all it's all a bit spooky. Like the whole thing is all a bit strange. He's moved away from making love songs and your typical commercial shit. Went underground, made some political shit, and then they killed him. But that's a fucked up story basically.
Yeah, man, it's terrible. But yeah, if you need to get on Sam Cooke, man. I think I'm getting,
looking for that.
So you boys all know I'm getting married in May, and I'm currently putting together like a playlist to cover like the morning, the afternoon, the evening, and like, I'm getting all of that stuff on. Do you know what I mean?
For when you walk in up to the altar as well?
Not up to the altar. I think that's all like I don't know.
That's not going to be rap.
No, I wish, man.
What song would you have if you could?
So like first dance, we're currently like talking about options and
walking up to the altar. You're about to get married. What song you have?
Sort of mumble rap, I think.
Underground, yeah.
But our first dance track, right? And I genuinely want like Tiana Taylor, "Gonna Love Me."
Yeah.
Do you know that track? And I might try to sneak in the Ghostface Method Man remix afterwards as well. Nice. I might try and make it happen, man. We'll see. But
good song. Yeah.
I mean that's like we talk about Kanye quite a bit, and I think like that's probably one of my favourite tracks he released last year.
Yeah.
Everybody hating on Kanye last year, yet he still had the biggest tune of the year, right?
So we love Kanye West here, man.
Kanye.
Yeah, we're big
Kanye
fans of Kanye here, man.
Did you see speaking of that, you know, just coming on from the beef episode, him and Drake, whatever. So today marks the 10th anniversary of Drake's first mixtape or album, and Drake put a post about it on Instagram, and he starts calling out like all kind of like the OVO and all his boys from like back in the day, and basically saying, oh, like OVO 40 a decade ago you were doing this, and you were doing this a decade ago. And he mentions Kanye in it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out what he actually says because I was reading it earlier. So Kanye West, a decade ago, I rapped over your beat because you made the best shit, and even though you stay wilding on Twitter these days, I will never forget what you contributed to the game and my career.
There you go.
So like, you know,
man, I only recently got into him actually. Like for
Kanye.
Yeah. I mean, I'm annoyed myself for doing it, but for ages I just didn't really give him much time because my music, I was very much into sort of the emo, sort of rock, heavy metal, that sort of music, and then went to college and started hanging out with a different sort of crowd, and then got into like rap music and UK hip hop through like High Focus, and then started to explore Split Profits and Yogo Cop and went around there, and so I went very much just like UK hip hop and then nothing else, and then a few sort of like big American heads, and then recently it was only through them like talking to them, they're like, no, you got to listen to Kanye. It started with the first album, man, and I can't get over like how good of an album, production wise, everything, like the beats in it like are like nothing else. But then I've started to go through the rest of the albums, and then it's like you slowly get such a difference in just like the sort of sound in general, like it's completely different, and it's
because you jump right into Graduation, you get that like Daft Punk, and then you go to what after that 808s, or is it?
Kanye is the best rap producer of all time.
100%.
There's an argument for it, definitely, man. Well,
2000, Dilla may be better, Primo may be better at his thing.
Different though, like
but with a 2000 XL and a bag of records, you imagine sitting Kanye down in here. Imagine like how many people in the world are going to flip what your crates better than Kanye, right? Let's not forget he's gone from that early stuff, 2000 XL, making beats for Jay-Z, making beats for Kweli, to then being 808s and being fucking. You've got his trainers on, right?
He's a good guy. I mean, I love how still to this day, like the records that he puts out, he doesn't clear the samples. He doesn't bother because he
Doesn't
just
need
thinks
to,
like, you know, hip hop.
But
Don't bother doing it until it like comes
until it comes
back
back
to
to
him.
him.
But then he's got enough money to like, you know, get rid of it.
Oh,
Isn't
it's
it?
just can't.
But it goes back to the conversation we had like a couple of weeks ago. You know, like people tend to like if they are in that elitist kind of mindset where it's like, right, I like underground hip hop, and if I hear that Kanye's associated to a project, I tend to like not want anything to do with it. It's just I just don't understand it.
I think that Tiana Taylor beat.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
How sick is
It's
that?
knocking.
It is. Yeah.
The Jackie Jackson, like old Motown
Hell,
drums.
yes, man.
Or
I know you know that.
it's either the Jackie Jackson drums or it's the fucking Michael Jackson Ain't No Sunshine drums. The dirty Motown drum at the beginning. That ain't hip hop. Flipping a sample and sticking some. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, man, it's crazy. But so on the US tip, so are there any other artists that you're into at the moment? I know you obviously love your Woo and your Doom. Is there anyone else at the moment you're listening to?
The whole Griselda.
Mm-hmm.
So West Side Gun, Conway,
My
Benny,
man.
and Mark Homme. I don't know what's happened with Mark Homme and the group. Like he was in Griselda for a period, but Mark Homme, fucking nobody rhymes like that, bro. He's very, very good.
I'll have to check it out, man. I love West Side Gun, Conway, but you were saying like as a collective, I'm not really
Griselda.
too familiar. Yeah. That's mate.
All vinyl, they sell out everything within minutes. They got like a cult following. I don't know how much money they're making.
Yeah. A bit like Cash is Dead then, like in terms of the marketing. Kind of, because he's
Cash
really
Dead,
analog, isn't
yeah,
he?
we
Like,
spoke about it before.
releases
Like,
tapes and shit. to
like
his
one
fans.
of his music videos, it was released on Pornhub. Like, that I just thought that was just really cool. I don't know why. I just thought it was really
How did you find it, mate?
Can I ask what your thoughts on J. Cole are? We've had a few conversations over the few episodes. I just want to see your stance on. J. Cole.
He's real good at rhyming. Like he's very, very good at rhyming. I haven't got into a project like I'm not like, oh my god, I'm a J. Cole fan or anything, but you just no denying how good he is at rapping. He's definitely one of the guys right now.
Do you think this year is going to be J. Cole's year where, you know, come the end of 2019, we would look back and think, yeah, this was J. Cole's year to be the greatest rapper of this year, if you know what I mean? Like going on the conversation.
I think maybe in 20 years we'd look back and be like, yeah, J. Cole was the best of this period, but he's got too much content. Like we're saying about mumble rap, J. Cole isn't going to knock Drake off the top spot while he's talking about politics. Do you know what I mean? So in 20 years' time, we'll look back and
it's
we'll
like
be
Lupe Fiasco as well, man. It's just like people like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if you're doing your thing because of artistic integrity and you feel like you have a message you need to convey to people, then fill your boots. That's fantastic. Like much love to you, but to your point, the kids don't want to hear it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
again West Side Gun and Conway. Like,
exactly, man.
They literally there's a video on. They've been talking about it for a while, but there was a show in New York, and Raekwon passed the torch of New York hip hop. Remember, this is the birthplace of it all. This culture with the Yeezys, with the fashion, with everything. New York is the center point. The Wu were some of the biggest artists from there. They were rhyming with Biggie and like in the same era. Raekwon has given them the torch. He literally passed the torch to him and said, these are the new guys. Yet there's no talk of Griselda in the wider hip-hop. Like, they're not on the Breakfast Club. They're not in the magazines. They just about scraped into the Freshman Awards. I think Anderson .Paak was listening to Westside and them, and he said, who do you think is best this year? And this was a couple of years ago.
Anderson .Paak, though, sorry just to interject, but what a talented fucking
what a guy, man.
What a guy.
Someone on like, have you seen the fucking Tiny Desk concerts?
Yeah. My favourite Tiny Desk is Anderson .Paak.
To play the drums and carry a song and rap like that it takes more.
Yeah, he's special, isn't he? He's good.
But anyway, sorry, man. I'll let you get back into it.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah.
I think Yes Lord is the best one of the lot, though.
Yes Lord.
Even Malibu's good. Venice is good. I said this to a guy who was in a record shop the other day. And I asked about Yes Lord, and he laughed, and he was like, "No, you wish you could get that album." But that was the best of the lot. I think Malibu and Venice, and they're cool, and the production value is obviously incredible. And Oxnard is great.
Oxnard, they got a great Ninth Wonder beat on there. What the fuck's the name of the track?
On Oxnard, yeah.
Yeah.
Think I've heard it, but the feeling of that Knowledge tape when he did it with the Yes Lord tape. Oh man, there's an energy in that recording.
So anyway, just to kind of obviously conscious of time and everything else, mate. So like we've kind of talked about, you were kind of coming into hip hop music, your stance on it. Like, have you got anything to plug? Have you got anything in the pipeline? Obviously, you've released a lot of material, but what are you working on at the moment?
Well, the Dots, we're still pushing the Dots.
Yeah.
Me and Concise, and the label, big up label, Millennium Jazz. But I've recorded an EP with Deck Daddy in Oslo before I left, and it's really, really nice, man. You'll like it.
Nice, man.
It's more progressive because the production's more progressive. I think the best song on there doesn't have a sample. Apart from the drums, there's no samples on there. So it's different for me.
Heavy, man. And is that a Norwegian artist, Deck Daddy? Or
Deck Daddy's Norwegian.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
If hook us up with some like links or something, man, and we'll have to get it plugged on there.
100%.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. But so anyway, man, like we'll play out with one of your tracks from the Dots, man. But thank you for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Yeah. I'll have to have you back on. What do you guys think?
Definitely,
mate.
definitely.
You've been our first guest, and obviously, like that's an honour. Obviously,
seems to be a natural at this podcast and stuff as well.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, we just had a convo. It's been nice.
Yeah, definitely, nice, man. Definitely. So hit us up when you're free, and we'll have to make it happen again. But
100%. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time, man. Big up. So, guys, this has been Shotgun The Aux. Obviously, follow us at Shotgun The Aux. Like our Instagram, please leave a review on iTunes, follow us on Spotify.
On the YouTube as well, where you can watch this video.
Yeah. So this is our first video.
Yeah, it's the first video that we've done. I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
Aiden's looking a bit like Steven Spielberg today, which is quite apt. So.
Joe, I'm really worried because when we've started going, I heard a noise from the phone, and I don't think any of this has been recorded.
you are joking.
I didn't want to say anything because we were just chatting.
Typical Jake, but we got the audio, so it's fine. But
alright, hopefully we'll see.
We'll wrap up there, man. But thanks again, mate.
Yeah, nice
Take
one,
care,
man.
man.
Appreciate that.
Cheers, man.
Peace, and we're out.
Safe.
Big up.
Which pill, red or blue? Fuck it, I'ma do both just to see what it do. Now fuck space and time as I enter the mind. All sorts of shapes and sounds I find. New visions and new horizons. A whole panorama on the back of my eyelids. Feeling dizzy, I like splits. The higher I get, I forget gravity and time shifts. Now I'm flying through a Milky Way of stars. I found a more advanced civilization than ours. They told me about the futuristic and scientific technologies and methods that's connected to an ancient mystic. Now I move through realms in a session that's in 5D beyond your comprehension. I'm tripping. Yeah, hey yo, I'm tripping, and the further I slip in, I'm seeing visions of pyramids and Egyptian signs of the zodiac. I'm in between space and time, having close encounters of the third kind. But this ain't the first time, I've been here before. My phaser on stun, I'm on the draw, and hitting on space stars, crystals that's the size of me. I was minding my own, admiring the scenery when I bumped into this bugged out brother with two heads and one eye with a purple umbrella. Unicorns and leprechauns, everybody's whatever. Rainbows and sounds, colors moving like a river, and I'm swimming in it as I flow. All of my stress falls like dominoes, but everything I see ain't really me. I got to get back to it when I'm in reality.
You close your eyes and you see the ordinary warm brown back, closed eyelid scenario, and then these colors begin racing together and it forms this mandalic, floral, slowly rotating thing. This is a place in the trip that you want to see as you go by it.